Looks like we're recording, which is awesome. We'd love to just make sure that you guys can all hear me okay. So would love if you just put a little yes or no in the chat. Just say hi, let me know you can hear me okay, give me a yes or no, and feel free to put in where you're tuning in from. I know a lot of you are tuning in from maybe your home or your office or your car or wherever you might be. So again, I'm Katie Lance. I'm the founder and CEO of Katie Lance Consulting and the Get Social Smart Academy. I'm author of the book Get Social Smart. You can see a few pictures of me on the screen here. I live out in the San Francisco Bay Area on the other coast out in California. You can see a few family pictures, and I wear a number of different hats. I'm a mom, a wife, a keynote speaker. We run a social media marketing firm. You can see a link there for my Instagram. So if you are active on Instagram, take out your phone, scan that. That'll take you to my Instagram. Give me a follow. And as we're going through our time together today and throughout our classes, we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear your takeaways. We'd love to hear your nuggets of what you take away from the class. So feel free to follow, but also message me and let me know that you were here today, and so I can give you a follow back. And would love to hear your takeaways. So the focus of really our time here together today is to talk about how to get smarter with technology, how to get smarter with digital technology. Especially in this class, we're going to focus on AI, a little bit of social media, a little bit of marketing, a little bit of content. And look, at the end of the day, I really don't think that AI or social media are the end all and be all. I just think when done right, it can make a huge difference in your business. And at the end of the day, time is our most precious asset. I feel this deeply as a mom, as a wife, as a business owner. I don't think as an agent you need to be spending all day long on ChatGPT or any tools. It's just about how to use those tools in a smart way that are going to build your business. And I can see a lot of you chatting in the chat, which is awesome. Thank you guys for chatting. I can see lots of you saying yes. Sound is all good. We got Memphis home, awesome. We got Hernando, awesome. Becky, lots of folks. Hello, Bill. Good to see you guys. Welcome, welcome. All right, cool. Home office, says Tracy. Fantastic. So as far as our series, what we are covering over the next 3 parts, we've got 3 parts lined up of what we are talking about here today. Today is going to be all about understanding AI in the real estate landscape. I'm going to give you lots of tools and how we're seeing agents and brokers use AI, especially ChatGPT. We're going to talk about Canva and some of the AI tools available there, and just all the cool things that you can do, but not just cool things that you can do, things that will actually help move the needle forward and help you with your marketing, help you save time in your business. And then part 2 is all about leveraging social media for real estate success. Part 2, we're going to dig more into the specifics of some of the different social media platforms like Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn and just all the different platforms. And we're going to give you some really great tips and ideas, especially, social media has changed a lot. It's a lot different in 2024 than it was 5 years ago or 10 years ago. So we're going to give you lots of good tips on that. And then part 3 is all about content creation. So we know when it comes to really getting a lot of traction from social media, one of the best things that you could do is put your voice out there. We want to hear you. We want to see you. The best type of content is content where we can hear you and see what you're all about. So we're going to really dig into that part 3 and talk about some best tips and practices for creating content, doing so in an efficient way, helping you create content that attracts business. So we're very excited about that. And if you just joined, welcome, welcome. By the way, if you have questions as we go through our time together today, we've got about an hour set aside. So if you have any questions, feel free to put those in the chat. I will try to look at those as we go through our time here together today. Awesome. Thank you. Yvette from South Haven is in the house. Awesome. Ginger doesn't have sound. You might just have to turn it up on your end or maybe refresh your screen every once in a while with tech. You know how that happens. So, but it is being recorded. So, all right. So let's get into it here today. When we talk about ChatGPT, and I want to kind of talk a lot about ChatGPT because the AI landscape, in a lot of ways, there's a lot we could talk about, but especially ChatGPT is such a huge conversation. And it's really interesting to think about how long and how fast ChatGPT grew. So ChatGPT came out back in November 2022. It's been a little over a year. And you can see on the screen here, it took Netflix 3.5 years to get to 1 million. It took Facebook 10 months. It took Spotify 5 months. It took Instagram 2.5 months, and it took ChatGPT just 5 days to get to 1 million users. And if you don't have an account yet with ChatGPT, the link is on your screen there. So write that down if you're taking notes, or feel free to take a picture of the screen. Chat.openai.com is the link to set up a free account. It is free. There is a paid option to ChatGPT, but today we're really going to focus on how you can maximize using that free version. So chat.openai.com. If you just Google Chat GPT, you'll get 10 million different options. So that's what you want to, that's the correct link that you want to go to. So how long did it take to get to 100 million users? Well, if you thought 1 million users was fast, 100 million users is also pretty impressive as well. It took Netflix 10 years. It took Facebook 4.5 years. It took Instagram 2.5 years. It took TikTok 9 months. And it took ChatGPT just 2 months. And I have to say, just from speaking to a lot of different organizations, I speak virtually to a lot of organizations, associations, and brokerages. I'm a keynote speaker. I was just at Inman in New York speaking all about AI and social media and Canva and things like that. It's certainly AI is certainly the hot topic, right? I'm sure all of you would agree. And again, at the end of the day, I really think it's about not just using a tool because it's the next shiny object, but using it in a way that can be smart for your business. So I'm excited to share some really great tips and strategies that you can implement immediately. I see a lot of you have pen and paper, which is awesome. So feel free to take notes as we go through today. At the end, if it's helpful, I'm going to share a link to my slides also. So feel free to take notes and pictures of the screen, but I'm also going to share a link at the end so you can download the slides. So just a heads up on that. I know a lot of folks like to be able to download those, print those up, and look at those later on. Now, there are, of course, some limitations when it comes to ChatGPT and any AI. Number one, there's not an app or tool that can replace you, right? So if you're using ChatGPT to create descriptions for your listings, if you're using it to come up with video ideas or scripts, we want to make sure we're not just blindly copying and pasting, right? Because there's nothing like you. There's nothing like your personality. And it's only as good as the input that you provide. We're going to give some tips on how to get better output through AI. But a big part of it is what you're putting into it. And of course, just like anything, you need to always make sure you're adding your tone and your personality. So for example, if you're using ChatGPT to help you create a listing presentation, or you're using it to help come up with lead generation ideas, also adding in what kind of tone your personality is makes a big difference. So for example, if you're someone who's really outgoing, or maybe you're more introverted, or you're funny, or you are low key, or whatever kind of describes your personality, adding that into your prompt for ChatGPT or any AI tool, it's going to help make the output sound more like you. If you've ever used AI or ChatGPT and you felt like, that doesn't really sound like me, one way to help with that is to really think about your tone. And if you're not sure what your tone is, ask a couple dear friends, especially a couple dear friends that you might work with, right? You might say, hey, what would you describe my tone, right? Professionally, be nice, right? But getting that feedback from some colleagues, and that can help tremendously. And I'm going to go through some more tips on how to do that here in just a minute as well. Okay, so the other thing with ChatGPT, you can access it on your computer. You can also access it on your mobile device. Now, same thing, if you were to just go into the App Store and search ChatGPT, there's a million different options. The one on the screen is the official app for ChatGPT that you want to make sure you download. It's available for iPhone, Android. It's free. It's also ad-free, which is pretty fantastic. A lot of times with free apps, there's ads that are popping up all the time. So it's ad-free. And it also saves your history. So if you've used ChatGPT, the way ChatGPT works is you go into ChatGPT, you ask for something, right? You might ask for help with a listing description. You might ask for help with coming up with ideas for video content or reels or TikTok ideas. So as you're doing that, the beautiful part about that is the history saves from your desktop to your mobile app. So if you're doing a little bit of work at your home office, you're brainstorming, you're working on your marketing, and then you've got to go and you're out and about and you've got your phone, you can pull up your mobile app, and that history of what you've already done is already right there on your phone. So that is fabulous. I would also recommend that you make sure that you have that app updated. If you go to your app store, if you've already downloaded it, make sure that you update that as well. So what are agents using ChatGPT and AI for? Well, the list is endless, but there's lots of different things. And I've got a few screenshots of some of the folks we work with. We have a membership site, our Get Social Smart Academy. And I recently went into our academy and just asked, did a little bit of an informal poll to say, hey, what are you guys using ChatGPT and AI for? So lots of answers. Here's just a few. I put a couple screenshots on the screen here. Descriptions for listings, stern emails, right? That's always a good one. Helping me be creative when in a rut, which I love that. Sometimes we just get stuck. We've got something we want to do. We need some creative ideas. ChatGPT can be great for that. Joy on the screen here says, ChatGPT created a first-time homebuyer's guide for me. I haven't figured out how to print it yet or make it into a PDF. And we're seeing a lot of folks who are using ChatGPT for creating things like homebuyer guides, relocation checklists, any type of helpful or PDFs that you can send clients. And one of the things I talked to Joy about is the beautiful part about ChatGPT alongside with Canva is you can create something in ChatGPT and then put it into a Canva template, into a workbook or an ebook or a PDF. And with a little bit of work, you can make sure it looks like your branding and add your colors and your logo and things like that. There's also some great tools where you can actually do some brainstorming all within Canva as well. And I'm going to share some tips for that here in just a minute. Mary on the screen, she says, yes, MLS write-ups, note cards. So really the list is endless, which is really exciting. And I would actually be curious, those of you who are watching live, I would love to know if you have used ChatGPT. Can you just let me know in the chat, yes or no, if you have used ChatGPT? There's no right or wrong answer. I'm going to imagine a lot of you have, but I also know that it's still fairly new. And there's a lot of folks when I teach this that have not tried it out yet. So no shame either way. All right. So I'm seeing a lot of yeses, a lot of nos. Okay. All right, cool. Sherry says yes. Jeff says yes. Becky says not yet, but ready. Awesome. A couple of people say no. All right. So my encouragement, especially if you haven't used it after this session, I would encourage you at a minimum to create a free account at that chat.openai.com and try it out. And you can try it out, of course, for business. You could also try it out for, other things personally in your life. You can go to ChatGPT and say, hey, I need help coming up with what to make for dinner tonight. And what I've found is just by using it, by trying it out, that's going to be one way for you to really see, like, how's this going to work best for me? Michael says, yes, I use it a lot. Fantastic. Spencer says, yes, I wrote my first listing with it and use it daily in my job. Awesome. Okay, cool. So if you're brand new to this, awesome. If you've already been using this for a while, I know you're going to get a lot of great tips as well, because ChatGPT has evolved a lot just in the last year. That's right. Not yet, but ready. Okay, fantastic. I love that attitude. So there's lots of ways that you could use ChatGPT for listings. Of course, I'm going to share 7 big ways we're seeing a lot of agents use ChatGPT for listing descriptions. And what you're going to see on the screen are 7 different prompts that you can put into ChatGPT. So if you're new to ChatGPT, very simply, the way it works is when you go to ChatGPT, there's a little kind of open search bar where you can type in what it is that you need. So I've got a prompt here on the screen, and the prompt is pretty simple. It says, write a 500 to 1,000 word compelling property description for 123 Main Street in San Francisco. I just use San Francisco because that's the area that I live in, is San Francisco. House details, 4-bedroom, 2-bath, approximately 1,800 square feet, great location, newly remodeled, gourmet kitchen, available by appointment only. Tone should be professional, yet friendly and conversational, right? I mentioned a second ago the importance of putting in your tone of what your personality is. So again, I didn't put in everything about that listing. That's the prompt, right? So that's what I like to start with when it comes to thinking about listings. Is I like to kind of start with a property description, because once you have a great property description and once you put in this into ChatGPT, what will come back is a pretty robust description. You'll probably get something that's 500 to 1,000 words. It's going to look pretty good. It might have a few bullet points. And of course, just like anything else, we don't want to just blindly copy and paste it and throw it in the MLS. I always say, read it over, double check for accuracy, double check for any kind of bias. We want to make sure, there's no fair housing violation. And this might sound a little old school, but once I get a property description from ChatGPT, I actually like to copy and paste it, put it like into a Google document or a Word document, and print it up. And when you print it up and actually read something out loud, you can really quickly hear if that sounds like you, if that sounds accurate or not. And that might sound a little old-fashioned, but I find that it's so important, obviously, to read it over, double check for accuracy, and of course, double check for tone. So once you've got your listing description, from there, you can think about all the different things that you use, what you do in terms of your marketing. So the second thing is you could ask for bullet points, right? So if ChatGPT comes back to you and has, a great 500 to 1,000 word description, but maybe it doesn't have any bullet points, you could say, great, now can you add some additional bullet points to that description? And those could be bullet points that you use if you're creating a postcard or a flyer. Number 3, write as an email that I can send out to my real estate clients and prospects about this new listing. Tone should be friendly and helpful, right? So taking that listing and then saying, okay, can you turn this into an email? This could be an email to your clients. You could also say, turn this into an email I could send to my prospects or my past clients or my buyers, right? Number 4, now write this as a blog post I can use for my website, make this SEO friendly, that's search engine optimized friendly, include a compelling call to action. So if you have a blog on your website, you're someone who likes to write, again, we don't want to just kind of copy and paste the listing description. Having ChatGPT format that into more of a blog post, that's a great way to get that onto your website. 5, 6, and 7. So number 5, you could say, please provide 5 ideas for Reels or TikTok videos that I could create for this listing. Include suggestions for video scripts, topics, and titles, right? So it's going to come up with a bunch of different ideas for content that you could use to post to Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, different types of video ideas. Number 6, rewrite this listing description in a storytelling format. This is a really fun one. So it'll take your listing description and rewrite it, kind of like once upon a time into a storytelling format. And that type of content you could use for a social media post. We've seen some agents and brokers use that if they've got a great property video and they're doing a little bit of a voiceover and they're voicing over, explaining what the property is, and you can have fun and be creative with that. Number 7, this is especially great if you're putting your content on YouTube. And we're actually going to talk a little bit more about YouTube in my second and third class in this series. But if you're doing any kind of marketing, especially videos, I encourage you to think about YouTube. YouTube's the number 2 search engine in the world. It's owned by Google. So number 7 on this list is write a YouTube description of a video for this listing. Make it SEO friendly, again, search engine optimized friendly, include relevant keywords and a compelling call to action and an SEO friendly title. This is a big one. We publish a lot of content on YouTube, and I have found that a big mistake a lot of agents and brokers make with YouTube is you could have the best video in the world, but if you don't have a compelling title, if you don't have a great description, if you're not tagging it properly, you're using the right keywords, a lot of times your videos are kind of falling flat. You get 2 views, 3 views, one of them's your mom, right? It always amazes me when I see a YouTube video with 0 views. I always think, even you're not watching your own video. So if you are putting any of your videos on YouTube, making sure you have that compelling description. And again, ChatGPT can help for that in a big, big way. I'm just looking at the chat here. Okay, awesome. Obviously, there's more than just those 7 ways, but those are 7 big ways that we're seeing a lot of agents use ChatGPT for listing descriptions. Of course, there's a lot of ways that you can use it for each listing to save time. Some of these I already covered, but I want to kind of dig into this a little bit more. I do have a video over on my YouTube channel. Actually, I've got a bunch of videos all about ChatGPT. I have a whole playlist. So if there's any specific topic, because I've got a lot that I'm covering, but if there's anything specific that you really want to dig into, feel free to head on over to my YouTube channel. It's just Katie Lance over on YouTube. And you'll see I've got lots of videos over there for some of these specific subjects. But using ChatGPT for each listing, again, property description, you can use it for long form property descriptions, short form for flyers, property websites, any kind of social media posts, again, including maybe a storytelling post, hashtags. If you are kind of stuck coming up with hashtags, I know a lot of folks struggle with that, going into ChatGPT and saying, hey, I am a realtor in, Northwest Mississippi. I have a listing here, here, and here. I have a social media post about this. Can you come up with 5 to 10 compelling hashtags, right, that are relevant for my local area? Number 3, Reels or TikTok video ideas or scripts. YouTube descriptions for video property tours, blog posts, email newsletters as well. One of the things I always say about social media is as much as I love social media is rented ground. We don't own it. So I'm a big believer in creating content that you own and building your own email database that you own. And so, if you're doing any kind of email marketing, ChatGPT can be really fantastic for that. As well as ad copy. If you're running Facebook ads or any kind of print ads, maybe even running ads for a while and they are just not really working as well as you'd like them to work, you can go into ChatGPT and say, I am running a Facebook ad campaign. Here's the copy. It's not working very well. Can you reformat this? Can you rewrite this? The goal is to generate leads or, whatever the goal is for the ad. Of course, as you see at the bottom of your screen, I always say, always add in your personality and tone. We don't want to just blindly copy and paste. Of course, always double check for fair housing, code of ethics violations, any kind of biases as well. And I'm actually going to drop a link in the chat here. I have a video specifically that you don't have to watch now, of course, but at some point, especially if you're thinking about ChatGPT for your listings, I have a video. There's actually a screenshot on the screen here, but I dropped the YouTube link in the chat. Feel free to click on it, watch it later, but it's a great add-on to what we're talking about here today. And I have found, especially with just everything going on in the market, that everyone's being a little bit extra creative for what is happening with listings. So ChatGPT can be very, very helpful with that, especially into 2024. Now, one thing when you start to, use ChatGPT is you're going to have a lot of copy, right? You're going to have a lot of stuff that is sort of stored inside of ChatGPT. And it's not just ChatGPT. As you start to go down this road of creating content, you're going to have a lot of content. You're going to have content on your phone. You're going to have it in a lot of different places. So I personally like to use Dropbox or Google Drive to store a lot of my graphics, but more importantly, video. As you're creating video content, maybe you're creating a lot of short form video content for Reels or TikTok, or you're creating longer form video content for maybe Facebook or YouTube. All of that takes up, I can hear a few people. If you wouldn't mind muting real quick. Sorry, guys. Thank you. Thanks for muting. I appreciate it. So if you can use a tool like Dropbox or Google Drive to take your content off your phone, get it somewhere into the cloud, where it's not necessarily taking up space on your phone, the better. I also love when it comes to content, and I'm going to talk more about this in my next 2 classes. When it comes to content creation, I'm a big believer that if I'm going to sit down and do my hair and makeup and record one video, you better believe I'm going to record like 4 or 5. So I like to batch create a lot of content. And if you're just doing that all on your phone, it can get kind of lost, in the weeds of everything else on your phone. So I use Dropbox or Google Drive to get that content there, save it there. If you're using, or if you're working with a video editor, or if you have an assistant or anyone else on your team, that way they can grab that content quickly and easily. The third thing that I use a lot to just stay organized with content, and this is specific to ChatGPT, are Google Documents. So Google Documents are free, which we love. I love that I can access my Google Docs on my phone, on my computer. I can share them anywhere as well. And especially when it comes to using a ChatGPT for listings. So I gave all these different ideas for how you can use ChatGPT for a listing. And I want you to imagine yourself doing this. You go into ChatGPT, you're asking for a listing description, you're asking for social media posts, you're asking for blog content, email content, you're asking for all these things. But what if ChatGPT crashes? What if you can't get into the site? You've created all this stuff and now it's just living there. So I personally, when I'm using it, I like to take that and put it into a Google document. And I've actually created a ChatGPT listing guide, which is just an easy place to be able to take your content from ChatGPT and just dump it all into one spot. Right. So if you've got 123 Main Street and you've got all of the marketing, all of the copy and social media posts and email posts and everything that you're going to do, having it all in one spot is going to make it a lot easier. And I'm going to show you how you can actually get a copy of that if you'd like a copy of that. I just find, again, it makes it a lot easier in terms of getting organized. So I did create this super easy. It's just a simple Google document that you can either, if you're active on Instagram, feel free to message me. Again, I have got my Instagram up here. You can send me a DM over on Instagram. Just say, hey, I was on that webinar. Can you send me your ChatGPT listing guide? I'm happy to send it to you. It's free, no charge or anything like that. Or if you're not, just email me, katie@katielance.com. You can email that to me, or just send me an email. Say, hey, I was on that webinar. Can you send me your free guide? So I can drop that link in the chat too, just so you guys have that real quick. I'll drop my Instagram in and my email as well. See if I can type and talk at the same time. Katie@katielance.com. And at the end of the day, I really feel like when it comes to content and ChatGPT, again, just getting organized is the name of the game. So what we're seeing for a lot of agents who are using something like this ChatGPT listing guide is they are creating a listing guide for each listing they have, right? So it's 123 Main Street, 234 Elm Street, whatever it might be. And then each Google document has all the copy. It has the listing description. It has the content for the flyers. It has all the content for your emails, all in one spot. This is especially helpful for 2 reasons. Number one, just for yourself. If you are a solo agent and you're inputting all this stuff and you're scheduling and writing posts and all this, now you can have it all in one spot and you're not digging around looking for it. Number 2, if you have an assistant or a virtual assistant or someone helping you, now they've got it all in one spot too. And again, they're not, it's not like a scavenger hunt trying to find it as well. So using something like a listing guide, I find makes a really, really big difference. Now, of course, beyond listings, there's a million different things you can use ChatGPT for. I want to give you 10 of my favorite ways you can use ChatGPT and AI for social media and content ideas. Again, I have a video all about this up on my YouTube channel. Feel free to check that out if you'd like. Number one, of course, MLS descriptions, as we just talked about. Rewriting descriptions. If you are an agent who gets a new listing, but maybe that listing has already been on the market by another agent, and that listing's been on the market for 60 days, 90 days, however long, and now it's yours. So you can go into ChatGPT and say, hey, I'm the new real estate agent for this listing. I'm going to put the listing description in here. Can you rewrite this? Can you rewrite this in a more compelling format, freshen it up? And it's great for that. Number two, landing pages, especially if you're doing any kind of ads, you probably have some sort of landing page you're directing people to. Landing pages can be a little tricky, especially if you're not a marketer. If you know, writing marketing copy isn't your strong suit, which, you know, to be honest, for a lot of realtors, you're in the job of real estate, right? You're not, now you're kind of forced to wear that full-time marketing hat. And for a lot of folks, that can be a challenge. So using a tool like ChatGPT to help you write compelling landing pages, create compelling ad copy. Number three, social media posts for various platforms. I will say, by the way, I don't think as an agent, you have to be everywhere. I don't think you have to be on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, Twitter, 27 platforms. I think you need to pick one or two that you enjoy and that your clients are on. But using ChatGPT to help with some content ideas is a great thing. Again, email newsletters, as I mentioned, social media is rented ground. So using ChatGPT to come up with some ideas for email newsletters. LinkedIn articles. We're going to talk more about LinkedIn probably in our next class. LinkedIn is free. For a lot of agents, LinkedIn is kind of like the set it and forget it platform where you set it up at one point and maybe haven't done a whole lot with it. But LinkedIn is not just for job searching. It's one of the only professional platforms that's out there. And one of the most underused tool, I think, is the ability to create free newsletters within LinkedIn. Again, if you're not a writer, that can be a little bit challenging. So using a tool like ChatGPT to put out helpful content, you can create articles, you can create email newsletters, and really kind of help to cultivate your audience. What's interesting about LinkedIn, I don't want to go off on too much of a tangent, is I find that the audience on LinkedIn is much different than other platforms. Oftentimes you have, C-level executives who are on LinkedIn who are not hanging out on Instagram. They're not on TikTok, right? So just a different audience, which is exciting. Number 7, writing articles to submit to the media. If you're someone who wants to get that media exposure in your local newspaper, your local hometown blog, part of how you do that is pitching local reporters, local journalists. Most of the time, they're not going to write about your latest listing. But if you have a unique take on the market and you just need some help kind of framing that in a creative way, using ChatGPT to help with that can be a great thing to do. Number 8, compelling email subject lines. If you're already doing some email marketing, you know that one of the biggest reasons why someone opens or doesn't open your email is because of the subject line, right? I mean, I'm sure we could all relate to this. Just this morning, I'm on my phone, I'm scrolling through my email, and what do we all do? It's like, how many can I delete until I get to the real emails, right? And a lot of times what we're deleting depends on who it's from and the subject line. So creating emails, compelling subject lines, I think is great. Again, number 9, video ideas, outlines for videos. If you're thinking of creating a podcast or a blog, coming up with some creative names for that. As a bonus, you can always use ChatGPT for rewriting content into other languages. So if you're fluent in other languages, it's great for that. Now, just because ChatGPT can turn your content into French or Spanish or any other language doesn't mean you actually speak that language. So only use that feature if you speak that language. That way you can actually read it, of course, proofread it, and make sure that it is accurate. So as I said in the very beginning, ChatGPT and really any AI tool, it's only as good as the input you provide. And I have on the screen here a really simple 3-part formula that I have found works really well for a variety of things that you might use ChatGPT for. This is great if you're brand new to ChatGPT or even if you've been using it for a long time. So the first thing I typically try to do when I'm using ChatGPT is I'm going to write in there, act as who you are, right? So for you, you're going to put act as a real estate agent in your city and town. Then the second thing you're going to do is you're going to basically ask for what you want. I need you to create an email campaign. I need you to create a social media post. I need you to come up with a listing description, whatever it is you need. And then the tone, right? The tone should be friendly or outgoing or, quiet or whatever, sort of whatever describes your personality. And then the last part is show as. So show as an email, show as a list of bullet points, show as a numbered list, show as a spreadsheet, show as a table, show as a blog post, and just really being specifically clear on exactly what we're asking for. That's the name of the game. I talked a lot about personality and tone and prompts. I actually have 10 prompts or 10 sort of adjectives, I should say, on the screen. I wouldn't necessarily use all of these because they're kind of contradictory. I recommend, again, pick 1, 2, maybe 3 that really resonate with you. Again, sort of adjectives to your personality. So it might be using the word compelling. It might be using the word friendly or professional, playful, detailed, informative, conversational, funny, luxurious, thorough. Picking a couple of those, again, to just really showcase who you are in your personality. I find that the output you usually get from ChatGPT is typically pretty professional, but by using your tone and really kind of thinking about what your tone is, it's going to, again, make it sound more like you, which is the name of the game. The $1 million question to ask ChatGPT. So you're listening to this, you're getting all these ideas about ChatGPT and AI, which is great. And maybe you're not really sure how to ask for something either. So one thing you can do is you can go into ChatGPT and say, can you help me do A, B, and C? Can you help me come up with some creative lead generation ideas? I'm a real estate agent in this town and I need some creative ideas for 2024. What do you need from me to complete this task? And this is such a great question because when you ask ChatGPT, can you do this? And what do you need from me? It's going to tell you, it's going to respond and go, yes, I can do that. And what I need is, and it's going to give you a list, kind of a laundry list. It might ask you more about your brand. It might ask you more about your goals of what you want to accomplish. It's going to ask you a lot of different questions. And the more you can respond to those questions and give it, as much detail as possible, again, the better the output is going to be. So again, can you help me do A, B, and C? And what do you need from me to complete this task? Now, in addition to ChatGPT, there's lots of additional tools, of course, we can talk about when it comes to AI. I love using Chrome because within Chrome, there is the Chrome Web Store, and there are some really great Chrome plugins. If you aren't familiar with Chrome plugins, they're awesome. You can go to the Chrome Web Store, it's absolutely free. And a Chrome plugin just is like a little button that sort of lives at the top of your browser when you're using Chrome. So I'm going to share a couple of my favorite ones that I love that really tie into ChatGPT. The first one is called ChatGPT Writer. And this is again, free Chrome extension. You can go into just Google actually and type in ChatGPT Writer. You can go to the Chrome Web Store and type in ChatGPT Writer, and then it'll add it to your Chrome browser. So the way you use ChatGPT Writer is this is specifically great for when you need help with one-to-one email communication. So with ChatGPT, I mentioned a couple times this idea of coming up with maybe email newsletters or email campaigns. But sometimes, especially in real estate, there's just some tricky one-to-one emails that you have to send, right? Maybe you need to send an email that's really delicate. Maybe it's about a price reduction, or you need to write something that's really professional, but assertive, that has empathy. And so you can use ChatGPT Writer and basically go into that and say, I have an email about this, and I would like to respond in this way. Can you give me a suggestion? So I found this works really, really well, again, for that one-to-one communication. We want to be careful too with confidentiality. I wouldn't, when you're using this, I wouldn't necessarily be super specific. For example, I would eliminate names, right? We don't want to be like this person, we don't want to be so specific that we are violating confidentiality, but it is really fantastic for one-to-one communication. I know I've used it, right? When you have to send an email that's professional, but a little bit delicate, and you want to be careful with your words. It's a great tool. So again, that's available in the Chrome Web Store. Again, just Google ChatGPT Writer. It's free, which we love. I love it again for that sort of one-to-one email communication. Another one that's really fantastic is Web Chat GPT. So ChatGPT by itself is not connected to the internet. So there's some limitations to the data that you're getting from ChatGPT. And if you want to use ChatGPT for market reports and market data, you really want to connect it to the internet. And the best way, in my opinion, to do that is to use a Chrome plugin. I love Web Chat GPT. I've been using this probably for at least 6 months. Again, it's absolutely free. Once you download that and add it to your Chrome, now what's going to happen is when you're using ChatGPT, you can also have ChatGPT access the internet for data. Now, you don't always necessarily need to do that. If I'm using ChatGPT to come up with a listing description, I don't need ChatGPT to access the internet for that, right? It's going to create a great listing description. But if I'm asking for, hey, can you come up with a market report that compares, the difference between homes on the market sold this month compared to, the same time in 2023, it's going to actually have to scour the internet. It's going to have to grab some data, right? So using a tool like Web Chat GPT is great, I think, specifically for real estate, for market data. And when it comes to market reports, you can use ChatGPT and this Web Chat GPT to create market reports. I find it's really, really great to get data and then write it in an easy to read format. For a lot of agents, what I see a big mistake is they've got all this data and they're putting the data out there, but they're not really explaining, like, what does that mean? right? What does days on market mean? What is median home price versus average, sale price? Like, I think a lot of times we sort of take for granted this jargon that we all know, but being able to kind of write it in a way that, you know, the average person can understand. So I love it for that. Again, being able to create easy to read, maybe emails or blog posts or content around the market, which is fantastic. So Web Chat GPT, again, that's free, which we love. Another one that I love, this is also available in the Chrome store. It's Search GPT for Chrome. And what this basically does is it takes Chat GPT and puts it into Google for you. So anytime you go into Google, like if I go to Google right now and I start Googling something, I'll see my regular Google results, but in the far right-hand side of Google, I will also see my Chat GPT results, which is kind of cool. So if you're Googling something, you're searching something out, you'll see your Google results, but you can also see your Chat GPT results as well. So that's Search GPT for Chrome. That's also a free plugin. You can see kind of a little screenshot on the screen of what that looks like. You've got your Google search, and then it sort of just lives over to the right-hand side. So, which is very helpful. There's additional AI tools and resources. I mean, there's millions of different tools that are out there. Again, I just want to share the ones that I think are the most effective for agents and brokers. Two of my favorite outside of ChatGPT, of course, are Canva and Instagram. I would be curious, those of you watching live with us, how many of you use Canva? Let me know in the chat if you have used Canva before. I would imagine there's probably going to be a lot of yeses, but perhaps some no's. Again, no shame either way, but just curious. Canva is a free tool, as we all know. The paid version really allows you access to so many of the cool AI tools that are available. So definitely something to consider. Tommy says, every single day. Love it. Jamie says, yes, all day. Krista says, love Canva. Love it. Cameron says, I use Canva. I have the paid version. Fantastic. Yes. Okay, cool. Lots of yeses. Great. So I'd imagine a lot of you are very familiar with Canva, which is fantastic. There's been a lot of updates to Canva, especially with the AI functionality with Canva. So I'm going to share some of my favorite ones here in just a second. The cool thing I will also say about Instagram, by the way, we are seeing little snippets of Instagram rolling out AI. And I don't have a crystal ball, but I would imagine we're going to see more and more of this. One of the things we've seen recently with Instagram specifically is we've seen AI stickers, we've seen AI backgrounds. If you're active on Instagram, especially within Instagram stories, keep an eye out in your stories. I'm seeing like new little AI things slowly being rolled out all the time. So I think it's pretty exciting to see what's rolling out with Instagram, and we'll see what happens. Also, AI is rolling out to Facebook. I don't have that on the screen here, but just this morning I was posting to Facebook and I saw a little prompt on my Facebook that says, use AI assistant. It's a little pop-up that said, would you like to use Facebook's AI assistant? That's not rolling out to everyone as of yet. As a lot of you know, with Facebook and Instagram and any Meta product, updates don't go out to everybody all at the same time. They tend to roll out things slowly over the course of time, but we're seeing AI being integrated, of course, into social media in a big, big way. So I want to share just a couple of fun things that are happening with Canva. This is not a whole Canva training, but because we're talking about AI today, I just want to give you a couple cool things that you can use, especially for your marketing. One thing that I'm really loving is Canva's Magic Media. So this was previously called text to image. A lot of people call it text to image, where you are putting in a prompt and asking for Canva to create a graphic. So I went into Canva, and you can see on the left side of your screen, there's 3 graphics on your screen. On the left-hand side of your screen, there's a little prompt. I don't know if you can read that. I'll read it for you. It says, Northwest Mississippi at sunset, pop art. So I went into Canva and just gave a little bit of a description, obviously very simple, of what I wanted. I wanted a Northwest Mississippi at sunset. And I put pop art because that's kind of a description of the art that you're seeing on the screen. I could have put watercolor. I could have put black and white. I could have put cartoonish, right? I just decided to pick pop art because I personally like it. And so it came up with 4 different designs. And you can see here in the middle, it came up with, kind of a fun graphic. I'm going to see if I can click. This last one is actually a video. Let me see if I can click this really quick. So this is all using Magic Media for the graphic. And then I was able to use also Magic Media to turn it into a video. Let me play this really quick. There's no sound. I just want to show you what this looks like. It's pretty cool. You guys should be able to see that on the screen, right? It looks like the water's moving and the sky's moving. I didn't do anything. That is all AI, which is pretty amazing. So I think that this still has some ways to go, but I have seen huge leaps and bounds just in the last 6 months playing around with Canva's AI. Where I think that there's a really cool opportunity for you guys, especially with Magic Media, is if you're the kind of agent that likes to share content about your local community, about your local area, there's some really fun graphics that you can create. Now, I'll be honest, sometimes you put a prompt into Canva and it just is not at all what you're looking for. But if you're willing to kind of play around with it, there's some really fun opportunities to create some content around your local community and use Canva for that. And again, with any of these Magic Media photos that you create, you can also turn them into videos, which is awesome. So that could be a great little video that you plop up onto maybe an Instagram reel, TikTok. You add some music behind it, maybe you add a little bit of text on the screen, and now you've got a pretty easy piece of content quickly and easily. So that's Magic Media. That's available inside of Canva. And by the way, with Canva, I know there's a mobile app with Canva. Most of what I do with Canva, I like to do on the desktop, especially with any AI tools. I find that it's a little bit easier. That's just a personal preference. Another thing that is really cool that you can do with Canva, again, this is an AI tool, is Magic Eraser. I did this recently. I was in New York City speaking for Inman Connect New York. I had a new keynote I was giving there. And so I took a photo of New York City. This is actually a stock photo of New York City. And then I used Magic Eraser to erase all the cars and erase all the traffic. And jokingly, I wish I could erase the traffic in real life, but was able to do it in the pictures, erase the traffic, and then was able to put the hashtag across the bottom. This tool I find is awesome, not just for if you're going to go to New York, of course, but as a real estate agent, I'm sure a lot of you've got pictures you're taking of listings, you've got pictures you're taking of different things. If you've ever had listing pictures taken and looked at those pictures and went, oh my gosh, why is that on the counter? Why is that on the wall? Why is that in the corner? Well, it used to be you'd have to pay someone to use Photoshop to erase something from your photo. Now you can just go into Canva, upload your photo, and there's a little like brush, and you brush it and erase it, and it's amazing. So I absolutely love that Magic Eraser, which is really, really cool. Another thing that I love, another AI tool within Canva, is background remover. So I touched a little bit on YouTube a second ago, as well as other video platforms. We'll talk more about video in our next two sessions. But one of the things that's really important with video is having a great thumbnail, right? A thumbnail is like a book cover. If I'm at a bookstore and I'm scouring 1,000 different books, like the book cover is the one that's going to jump out to me. Same thing with YouTube or any video. Having a great thumbnail is key. And when you go to any platform and just upload a video, if you go to YouTube, just upload a video, YouTube's going to just randomly pick a thumbnail. And usually it's the worst part of the video, like your mouth's half open. It's not good. So I like to use Canva for all my video thumbnails. There are templates within Canva. But one thing that ties this back to our conversation with AI is you can upload a video or you can upload a video, but you can upload a photo and remove the background. So you can see on the left-hand side, there's a picture of me in my living room just pointing. I took that picture, I removed the background, and then I put it into a template in Canva for my thumbnail, right? I mentioned I'm from the San Francisco Bay Area, so that's why it says San Francisco Real Estate. I grabbed a great stock photo. That stock photo also available inside Canva. I added my little fake logo at the bottom, and there you go. So now when I'm in YouTube, I can upload that as my thumbnail. And by the way, that photo of me pointing, this is a little fun fact. I mentioned a second ago, I kind of jokingly said, if I'm going to do my hair and makeup and record one video, I always record a bunch. I always record like 4 or 5. When I'm recording videos, I also record a few pictures of me pointing or smiling or maybe giving a thumbs up. And then I will use those later for thumbnails. So just a little hack there. So that background remover for Canva, you can use that for photos. You can also use that for videos, which is fantastic as well. Another cool thing that I love within Canva is Canva's Magic Write and bulk upload to create content fast. This is not necessarily brand new. This came out maybe 6 to 8 months ago, but it has gotten better and better, and I absolutely love it. So you can go into Canva's Magic Write, and Magic Write works very similarly to ChatGPT, right? If you remember early on in our class today, I was talking about going into ChatGPT, asking ChatGPT for content ideas. If you're someone who uses Canva, and it looks like from the chat here, a lot of you use Canva, you don't even need to necessarily go to ChatGPT if you don't want to. You can just go right into Canva's Magic Write and use Magic Write in a similar way. Now, I do find that ChatGPT is probably a little bit more robust in the content that you're going to get. But if you're in a hurry and you just want to come up with some quick content ideas, you can use Canva. So I have an example here. I went into Canva's Magic Write. I said, make a list of top 10 tips for first-time homebuyers. Now I could have narrowed that down and said, make a list of 10 tips for first-time homebuyers in Northwest Mississippi or whatever town you're in. So I did that with AI. It came up with a quick list, 10 tips. Of course, I would read those over, make sure I like those. Then within Canva, there's something called bulk upload, where you can basically take those 10 ideas and then upload them back into Canva, and it'll create 10 graphics quickly and easily, which is awesome. If you've never done this before, there's a bunch of different steps. I would recommend the easiest thing to do is just to Google, how do I do bulk upload in Canva? Because there's like 5 steps. So it's easier for you to just Google it and get the instructions there. But once you figure it out, it's amazing. You can basically take 5 or 10 or 20 different ideas and create 5 or 10 or 20 Canva graphics, literally in a few minutes. So you can see here on the screen here, I've got a couple screenshots. I've got a screenshot of what Magic Write looks like. And then on the right-hand side, that screenshot shows what those 10 ideas look like in 10 different Canva graphics, right? Now, I wouldn't necessarily post those 10 days in a row. That would be ridiculous. But maybe as part of your content strategy, you're thinking, okay, I want to do a tip Tuesday. Every Tuesday, I want to share a real estate tip. Awesome. So now you have 10 tips and you can share one per week for the next 10 weeks. And you can even use Canva's scheduling tool to schedule that out once a week for the next 10 weeks. You could use other free tools like Meta Business Suite to schedule out that as well. Now, honestly, I would probably take that a step further and not just create those 10 graphics, but now you also have 10 topics that you could use for reels or videos that you create. So now you've got 20 content ideas. You've got 10 that are graphics, and then you can also take those 10 and create 10, maybe 30-second videos that you publish, again, on Instagram, Facebook, wherever you'd like, over the next 10 weeks. So again, just a really great way to work smarter, not harder, repurpose content as well. A couple other things, just looking at our time, we've got about 10 minutes left. So I talked a little bit about Instagram. Instagram, like I said, with Instagram stories, if you're using Instagram stories, which I do recommend, we're not going to touch too much on Instagram in this session. We're going to talk more about it in our next 2 classes. But Instagram stories are a great way to connect with people who already are following you. It's a great way to build relationships with people who already know, like, and trust you. And I love seeing some of the cool things you can do with AI stickers. With Instagram stickers, you can, with Instagram AI stickers, you can give a little prompt like moving to a new home or house in Mississippi. You can give just kind of some basic prompts to create a fun, unique sort of little sticker that you can use within Instagram stories. I have found with Instagram stories, the more you use Instagram's tools, like the stickers and all the different little functionalities that Instagram has, the more likely your content's going to get seen by more and more people. Instagram loves that. And of course, as I always say, and if you're sharing anything to social media today, feel free to take a picture of this and post this and share it. You can tag me, you can tag Northwest Mississippi Realtors. There's not an app or tool that will replace you. You know, there's nothing that's going to replace you. There's nothing like your personality, your experience, your expertise. In fact, just yesterday I was on Instagram and someone sent me a DM and they said, Katie, I'm just not getting a lot of engagement on Instagram. I feel like the last few weeks, like it's really fallen flat. I'm posting stuff. I'm not getting a lot of likes and comments. Would you mind taking a look at my page and like giving me feedback? I said, sure, no problem. So I look at her Instagram page and I scrolled through her last 12 posts. And out of those 12 posts, I only saw her one time. And I said, honestly, what's missing is you. Like, she had some beautiful content. There was some beautiful Canva content in there with some graphics and some inspirational quotes and some market reports, which was all helpful. But what was really missing was, what do you sound like? What do you stand for? What are you all about? Like, just getting on camera, right? And I know there's a lot of nuances to that, but I think that's really important as we talk about AI, we talk about Canva, we talk about any of these, ChatGPT. It can get you 50% of the way there. It might even get you 80% of the way there. But the real magic is in you showing up. It's in you responding to comments. It's in you engaging and interacting. It's in you being a noticer in your feed and noticing what other people are posting. It's you responding to your DMs. It's you, looking at your content and making sure that it sounds like you. Again, I don't think an agent should be spending all day long on social media. You're a full-time realtor. This is a small part of what you do. But again, just making sure you're inserting yourself into the conversation. So that is super important. Your context, your tone, and your lived experience are really the keys to maximizing ChatGPT and really any AI tools, right? Whether you're new to real estate or whether you've been in real estate a long time. And I found from speaking with a lot of real estate agents, there's a lot of folks who I speak to. Some of them have been in real estate decades. Some of you, as I'm talking right now, maybe you've been in real estate 20, 30, 40 years. Some of you might be brand new to real estate. And regardless of where you're at in that spectrum, we all have that lived experience, right? If you're someone who's been in real estate a long time, you have that lived experience of being in real estate a long time, and you can share your decades of experience and knowledge and expertise. And if you're newer to real estate, you can share your journey. You can share your love of why you got into real estate. You can share your love of the community. So, not that one is better than the other. It's just we all have that, again, lived experience that we can share. And I think when we think about ChatGPT and AI, integrating that is really the name of the game. Okay, next steps. I want to look at our time here. We've got about 5 or 8 minutes left. I promised my slides, so I've got a QR code on the screen. If you're at a place where you can take out your phone, scan that. That's going to get you to a page where you can put your name and email in, and we will send you a link to all my slides. I'll also send you some additional links. I know we only had an hour here together today, and I talked kind of fast. I've had a lot of coffee this morning, so I want to make sure that we get you some all the resources that you need. You can also email me directly if for some reason that QR code doesn't work or you have any questions. I always tell people, look, I answer my own email. I don't have an AI bot or anything like that. So if you email me directly, I'm happy to email you back, of course. I'll drop that link in the chat here just so you guys have that. It's just katielance.com /NWMAR, and I'll drop my email in the chat one more time. Okay, so that being said, let me know, what did you guys think? Was this helpful? Did you enjoy your time here together today? Let me know in the chat. Give me a yes or no. Let me know what you think. And let me know what questions you guys have. I'm happy to answer any questions you have about AI, ChatGPT, heck, anything I talked about here today, social media, content. And as we talked about, we have 2 more sessions coming up about social media and content creation. So I'm very excited about that. Sandy says, yes, this is great. Awesome. Thank you, Sandy. I appreciate that. All right, awesome. Well, I'm going to hand it back to the folks at NWMAR to see. I'm sure they have some closing thoughts as we wrap up here today. But again, if you have any other additional questions, feel free to put it in the chat. Sandy says, great information. Awesome. Bill, thank you. Awesome. Appreciate that. Patrick, thank you. Tracy, Krista, all your stuff. Awesome. Thank you, guys. I appreciate that. And as I mentioned earlier, would love to make sure that we connect. So if you're active on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, wherever you're at, I'm Katie Lance, basically everywhere. So I just ask, don't just give me a follow, but message me, say, hey, I was on your class today. And that way I can make sure I follow you back and can connect with you. Awesome. Tommy, I don't know if we have anything else that you guys want to wrap up with as we get to the end here today. Let us know. I'm just looking at the chat here. Fantastic. See here, Sandy says, I do have a question in regards to SEO and ChatGPT. Do we need the pro version? No, you don't need the pro version. You can use the free version for that, for sure.
I don't think we have anything else. Just if any questions come into the chat. Everyone seems to really have enjoyed the information you provided. So thank you so much again.
Yeah, my pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you guys for being here today. I always, time is our most precious asset. So thank you for making time today. I really, really appreciate it. And feel free to reach out if you have questions. I can't wait to connect with you on social, and I can't wait for our next 2 classes. So thank you guys so much.
Yep. And thank you, Katie.
All right. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. We'll
Yes,
see you
ma'am.
next
We'll see you on the
time.
next one.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
Bye.